Number 24, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic.
Worst case scenario, you'll see James Bradberry. They're going to say he grabs him. He's got his left hand on his back. I don't know. Mike, listen, I think on this stage, I think you let him play. Obviously, Mahomes thought he saw it.
Okay, so these were the scenes around Philly before the game time, and I guess you can kind of predict what the city would look like following the abysmal display of refereeing from NFL officials. This was only a few days after Roger Goodell publicly came out saying that refereeing was better than ever, and then you potentially have one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time to be robbed of an overtime ending. That said, the city of brotherly love in the last 3 months has now lost an MLS Cup, a World Series, and a Super Bowl for good measure.
That ref making that holding call at that time, at that stage of that game? Super Bowl? Huh? Huh? That wins the game. Game over. Kneel it out, kick a field goal. Got 6 seconds left in the whole fucking clock. It's over. There's a chance that, Butker makes his field goal. Then the Eagles were able to move. They score 35 points, doing their thing. They go down, they kick a field goal. Obviously, we're a tight game. We go to overtime. You know what Patrick Mahomes does? He throws for more than 225 yards in the entire game. We win. Now, the Chiefs might win as well, but nonetheless, that's me being very personal and selfish. What I need to say is this. Hey, refs, can't fucking call that there, okay? It's not about you. Now, was there a hold? I guess. If you stop and go frame by frame, he had his hands on him. But nonetheless, at that stage, come on! We were robbed of a potential overtime game in the Super Bowl. Nonetheless, congrats to the Chiefs, and it was a hell of an NFL season. We'll talk more about it manana.
So Super Bowl ref Carl Sheffers should probably do whatever he can to never officiate another game in Philly because he's literally public enemy number 1 in the city. In a close nip and tuck game that saw the Chiefs storm back in the second half, Sheffers made this controversial call with less than 2 minutes remaining in a tie ball game. Kansas City, with the ball at the Eagles' 15-yard line on 3rd and 8, needed a score to put them ahead, and during the play, you could see Eagles corner James Bradberry kinda lightly tug at the jersey of Juju-Smith Shuster. This penalty gave the Chiefs a new set of downs and ultimately thwarted any chance of Philly making a comeback. The fresh set of downs allowed Kansas City to kill more time off the clock and gave Harrison Butker a chance to redeem himself after missing a field goal earlier in the game. The kicker nailed a kick from 17 yards out and gave the Chiefs a 3-point lead with just seconds left in the game as Kansas City held on for the win to notch their second Super Bowl in the Patrick Mahomes era. That said, Carl Sheffers after the game said of the controversial play, the receiver went inside and he was attempting to release to the outside. The defender grabbed his jersey with his right hand and restricted him from releasing to the outside. Therefore, we call it defensive holding. And for what it's worth, Bradberry after the game, when addressing the media, said that the call was correct.
Like, you pulled on it enough for that call at that time?
I mean, that's not up for my judgment. You know, I was hoping he would let it go, but of course, you know, he's a ref. It's a big game, and it was a hold, so they called it.
How hard is it?
But that doesn't negate the fact that in huge moments like these, referees tend to let the players play and not get involved unless absolutely necessary. What makes this penalty even more frustrating for NFL fans is the fact that these entire playoffs have been riddled with questionable calls, and if I'm gonna be honest, the Chiefs were on the right end for most of them. In the AFC Championship game against Cincinnati, there were plenty of calls that had the NFL community up in arms. So after this controversy, there were a lot of individuals who voiced their frustration with the refs, particularly NBA superstar LeBron James, who tweeted out, "Sorry, but I don't like that call. Not for the Super Bowl, man. His hand on his back had no effect on his route. This game was too damn good for that call to dictate the outcome at the end. By the way, I have no horse in the race, just my professional opinion." So yeah, LeBron pretty much summed up how most of the neutral fans felt after the game. Anyways, you know the NFL conspiracy theorists are going to have a field day with this one considering the magnitude of this game and who benefited. That said, kudos to Mahomes and the Chiefs for a job well done and to maybe reopen the GOAT debate down the future. I can already see Tom Brady maybe reconsidering his retirement after the end result of this game.